Greetings, traders. This is Coach Robert with another episode of TopstepX in 5 minutes or less. In this video, we will be reviewing a quad chart layout, simply 4 different charts, that is available on TopstepX. So the first thing we need is to choose a quad view. You can select your layout at the top, different chart. We have a single, double, vertical, horizontal. We're going to choose the quad chart. And also, let's be sure that we're using the crosshair that is going across all of them. So as we move the crosshairs, we'll be able to see them moving across all charts at the same time. We don't need the interval because we're using different time frames. We have 1 minute, 5 minute, here's a 5 minute here, and this is a 30 minute, so we don't want to sync the interval across them, or the time of the date range since we're going to move these around. And on the symbol, we want to leave this one off because we're going to sync the symbol by using this chart link. We go to each one of these charts, add a chart link, and then in the settings, just simply make them all the same color. In this case, we chose ES. So now if I choose a different instrument, for example, NQ, they will all change at the same time. Now we'll undo that, back to ES. We have these set up for ES, so if you notice when I change NQ, looking at the Renko chart in the bottom, it doesn't quite look right because each instrument is going to have a different setting to them. And we'll go through the settings on these in just a moment. So on the top left, I have the regular candle on a 1 minute chart. These are Heikin Ashi candles on a 5 minute chart. They're actually fake candles, just run through a Heikin Ashi formula. Hopefully they'll be able to keep you in a trend longer based on the nature of the formula for Heikin Ashi. We have Renko chart at the bottom, and then a point and figure chart on the right for a higher time frame. This is very similar to what you would see as a TPO chart, or time price and opportunity. It's not the same, but it is similar based on how it looks. This is very, very simple. Let's take a look at this ES chart. Notice I have a 5 minute on the right-hand side. If I right-click on the top left chart, notice I have settings available. Okay, these are the settings I have for these colors. And there's nothing at the bottom for additional information. On the Heikin Ashi chart, I simply have them set for different colors so I can identify them by looking at them rather quickly. And again, it's just a standard time-based chart. Let's put them both on 1 minute just for a moment. The nature of the Heikin Ashi charts, as opposed to the candle, is it tends to potentially keep you in the trades longer. So I have this drawing tool linked, and I'm going to use this brush. I'm just going to circle an area. So we have this big red candle going down. I'm going to start with the green, go up to the current time frame like this here. Now what that does is, since they are synced together, it's going to highlight the same area on every chart. These will look a little different because of the time frame on them. But if we look at the ES chart 1 minute, we might get shaken out at some point along here, seeing these high wicks and red candles. But if we look, there's only 2 red candles in this entire run-up for the most part. And then here we have our pullback and then back up again. But we can see the dojis on here. The red candle has the upper and lower wick is very different than what we have on this side. So here we have a red candle. It's a doji. And then we have a green candle. We can tend to use these as a little consolidation area. We may not get spooked out, especially if, right after this. Once we break out of this little consolidation, we may think that it's not going anywhere, but then these remain green, and it may keep us in the trade a bit longer. Will it? Who knows? But it is a different view. What I like to do is I like to leave the Heikin Ashi charts on a little bit higher time frame. Let's just change this to 3 minutes as an example. So there we have it. This may hold us in longer. How about this red? Once we see the red going down, here's a green up and red down. We may not want to take those trades. And let's remove the drawings, and let's circle those 2 areas. Let's circle the green and then the red. And then we can see what they look like on our 1 minute regular candle chart. It may keep us, we may see these as rejection points and pullbacks, whereas it may keep us in the trade a bit longer. So that's the difference between those two. Renko chart, if we right click on it and we go to settings, notice there's additional information. We have different colors. We have projection bars up and down, and those are the bars as they are being built. I'm going to change the box size. This is 2 handles in size. So I'm going to move it 1 so we can actually watch these being built and removed. So once this ends a 5 minute time frame, it will just stamp these on the color of the completed bars that we have right at this point in time, red and green. But these, even though they are being built down, they may retrace and come back up and then stop at that point in time. The whole point is to use this chart to help identify support and resistance areas. Now, if we take and let's draw a horizontal line at this potential support and resistance area right here. What does that look like on our other charts? Does it mean the same thing? We may be spooked out of this one, but not on the Renko chart. And here's a longer time frame where we're still green before we turn to red. And here's an even longer time frame. This is the point and figure chart. And these are very, very similar also. We're going to change the settings. These are traditional. They have projection bars up and down, as you can see here. And these are, again, this is a one handle box size. So each one of these represents this X or O is one block to the upside and one handle to the downside if it's red. Now let's change these and we can see how much this cleans up. These are 5. Every one of these represents a 5-point move or a 5-handle move. And we can see by increasing these and then saying, well, we are doing a 5-point move. And if we go 5 in the other direction, 1 in the other direction, it's going to start changing the color to red versus the green X. Now let's flip this around. Keep an eye on your right-hand chart. Puts us back down to 1, but let's say we're not going to change direction until we go to 5. Look how this gets really cleaned up. We can really tend to see and identify areas where we have support and resistance locations. Look at this area right here. Now, what may happen at this point on other charts? It's very, very interesting. We really zoom out. What is going on with these charts, for example? Here is a traditional candle style. Let's put this on 15 minutes. And this is actually going way back. Let's put this on 30 minutes. And this is what we look like. This is what it looks like on a time-based chart. Let's go to our Heikin Ashi to 30 minutes. That's 30 seconds. Here's 30 minutes. And then we actually don't want to put the Renko on 30 minutes. It'll just give us 2 little bars going on here. We can see how nice and clear these look as far as a resistance area just by mapping it out on a different style chart. A little bit of poke over the top here, maybe faked out right here. It just, to me, it looks much cleaner, especially if we're looking at different time frames where we might get faked out on some of these areas. So just a secondary consideration, alternative charts using a quad layout, different time frames, but the same instrument. And hopefully this will give us a different view and potentially get us into trades sooner or potentially hold on to trades longer. So this has been Coach Robert, TopstepX in 5 minutes or less with an 8-minute video, and we will see you on the next one.